François Roche, architect, and as usual, I never appear myself on any camera, on any website, so that's why you cannot see my face, but you can see my hand, you can see my pencil, you can see my paper. And I'm representing the studio R&SIE from Paris and New York. We travel a lot, we try to make building, we try to make speculation, we try to make politics. It's clear that now, of course, to survive, an architect cannot stay in his own region, in his native region. He has to travel to also explain or unfold his practice, but also to be confronted, to confront himself to the chaos of the world and this indeterminacy or uncertainties of the world, and to understand the complexity of today. So I think it's not traveling as a MasterCard of traveling to think you are important. That is ridiculous. It's more traveling to confront and to like the field of the battle. The field of the battle of the possibility to speculate on architectures. We try to define a strategy of aesthetic link to the notion of time. What we are able to produce here and now, more unstable, showing the instability of the society and the instability of the post-capitalism. So the aesthetic reveals the condition of today. We try also to produce fiction as a possibility, as a potential to drive our present in some way, in some path, in some fictional trajectories where we could recombine, rearticulate our own alienation, or where we could rearticulate the media cultures. And we have a third part of, a third level perhaps of our production. It's more speculation. Yeah, it's research, practice on research. You know, you practice as a research and research as a practice. So it's ridiculous to think that your research is only embedded in academy or in the protected and comfortable wall of fence of the academy, and the practice is only to be confronted to your mire of your own city. So of course it doesn't work like that. It's more. You infiltrate research and practice, and sometimes you develop a strategy of confusion between research and practice to make something appear. Of course. To narrative. So in a way we are included. The word of today is incredibly subjective. We are alienated by subjectivity. Subjectivities of fears, of war, subjectivities of terrorism, subjectivities of ecology, and it's interesting how the post-capitalism is using this kind of tooling to alienate us more and more. So as an architect, we have to rearticulate this narration, and to use the project of architecture is it's not only to produce physically something. Is to use this possibility of physical production as a part of the scenario, which is able to talk more about our condition, more about what is context, what is the situation, what is the ecology of now, what is the ecosophy. I think in architecture today it's not only to make temple, to petrify temple, is to show, to make visible the contradiction of the production in the situation, like a Baroque period. We are not so far away, we are in a war of religious, it's a religious war in the world today, and we cannot deny this clearly, since 10 years. Not so far away from the war, the religious war of the 17th and 18th centuries, which produced the Baroque period, which produced the uncertainties, and the research to reveal the uncertainties aesthetically. Science, you know, science could be used in a positive way, as the philosopher Auguste Comte, And science could be used in a pure frame and rational way as an instrument of rationality, as an instrument of dictature, and we know that during the 20th centuries. And on the contrary, science could be used as like the theory of the chaos, the theory of the complexity, as a protocol of research, as a protocol of top-down and bottom-up, where you have to understand the artifact, when you have to understand the collateral effect of the experiment you are doing, and not to define the objective of this experiment before to start it, that is not science, absolutely not. So to reintroduce not only mathematics, but to reintroduce science in architectures is to reintroduce experimental protocol, experimental procedure, and the artifact produced by these procedures is reread in real time to be reinjected in the experiment itself. So well, it changed for me a little bit the way to define an aesthetic. It's not coming from a concept, it's not coming from a dream, but it's coming from to articulate knowledge with sometimes contradiction, conflict on the knowledge. Nobody knows, it's not true, but few people know that Lewis Carroll was a mathematician. And if you look at Alice in Wonderland, not the Tim Burton movie, which is a catastrophe, it's a fantasy, it's not a fiction, and nobody knows clearly that the absurdity in Lewis Carroll, in Alice in Wonderland, is coming from 12 problems of mathematics about the integer, about the loop, about changing the base, about the symmetry, how to adapt, to use the language as a value of symmetrical systems similar than mathematics. So it produced something totally different, of course. It produced a kind of high logic. So it's very interesting in Lewis Carroll how he used it, or Beyond the Mirror, how he developed mathematics in a way to reach the subjectivities of the absurdity, to push people to think it's absurd, this high logic. That is a new rationality. Right, natures, it's not the nature, we are not working with the natures as a Disneyland. We are not trying to domesticate natures to make a perfect Versailles garden where each flower are at the right place, at the right moment, totally controlled by humans. But we are interested in natures in terms of losing control, in terms of negotiation of fears, how we have to renegotiate our relationship to natures, not only to control the natures, but like I said, renegotiate the approach of the natures. If I come back on the Middle Age, because I love this period for many reasons, the natures was guilty. It was possible to, during the Middle Age, to make a prosecution against the natures. But we could do also a prosecution against the volcanoes, against El Nino. And to think that the natures has a psychology, the nature of the natures has, is a character which is able to produce his own revenge against the human civilization or industrial civilization. Like the fears in the natures, there's a little ghost in the natures. Of course, in the back of the garden, there is always ghosts in the natures. And I think we have to, as an architect, sometimes we have to, like ghost in the shell, we have to integrate the ghost in the shell of the architectures coming from the back of the garden.